Hello everyone. That was a little bit faster than I expected. I've currently moved over to Sony Vegas Platinum, which is why this is now uber fast and awesome, and I'm really excited. I had the trial before. Right, so just quick notes. We're doing the interior parts now. I'm gonna do another Let's Build episode tomorrow that's gonna be sped up, possibly even faster than this one. Just because I do want to do the next settlement tour. I'll probably have that one up on Monday afternoon when I get back from work. But I wanted to kind of complete the castle this week so we can start moving on to other stuff. But I do need probably a good couple of hours worth of just tweaking bits. So basically, we're adding in the areas underneath the walkways. We actually end up having more walkways because the thing is with these buildings, which works really well, due to their shape, it means that we can actually have even more walkways because the buildings are obviously wider than the walkways are, which it ends up looking pretty cool, to the point where, not in this video, but I might actually add more buildings. So we end up having this kind of little network of upstairs walkways, which is pretty grand. So it was pretty straightforward. As I said, my original plan worked pretty well. The only difference is, if you look really closely, the top of these buildings doesn't completely touch the actual bottom of the walkways, but it's not too much. It's not even particularly an issue. You only notice it when you're building the damn thing, but when you actually go up there, you don't particularly notice at all. Like when they're all set up, it's like a couple of inches, especially with the later ones as well, because some of the walkways are kind of slightly different heights. I don't realize, but I do like, as I've said before, I do like you guys seeing the not maybe mistakes I make, but the little fuck ups or the things I hide, which I do a lot. So as you can see, it really, like, well, actually when this one's done, it was, oh, actually quick note as well, when I'm building these kind of buildings, you may notice that I'm almost quite laissez-faire with how I put things together. I have kind of set styles, like I do like having those shack and roof elements kind of poking off so the buildings aren't square, they're kind of bulbous and weird. But if you're ever doing something like this, like I notice a lot of people ask me questions about, oh, you know, how do you fill space, you know, your buildings look so cool. Honestly, what I do with these kind of, when I'm in a shack building mode, I don't really think about it. If you see the techniques, I'm just kind of like, yep, slap down. I want them to look as organic and weird as possible. You know, like we've all seen pictures of, you know, slums in Rio or something like that, or kind of, you know, those big Asian, kind of those places like in China. They look really cool and kind of organic. The idea being that these have just grown out of necessity rather than necessarily been planned. I don't like the idea with any of these buildings that someone's planned them. So we're about to start our next walkway now. I realised this. This first house I actually recorded directly after I'd began rendering the other video. I just wanted to kind of try it because I was quite excited, which is why you'll notice dog meat disappears and Valentine makes himself known, which is grand. That this worked really well. Not all of them are as kind of crisp as this one, but we're going to have more. In this video, basically what we do is we get, I think, 2 more buildings underneath these. Then we start putting the actual fences on the supports to the upper floors, to the walkways rather. But also then we get the generator room ostensibly done. I want to go back and fiddle it. It was while doing the generator then I realised, look, this is over an hour's worth of footage right here that I managed to shrink down to about under 30 minutes. But it was a bit optimistic of me to think that we would have this done in one episode, which is good for you guys. So see, dog meat's there. With these, because of the way that these aren't exactly very wide buildings, it meant that most of my staircases are either, when I'm on upper floors like this, on the inside, or they're the kind of stairs that go on the outside. For example, I could have put those stairs on the bottom floor, but obviously because it's only, you know, 2 by 2 or something like that, it means that if you went under it, you would see a giant gap where the foundation legs were meant to be. So, and it looks quite cool actually. I like the idea of these weird staircases poking out the side. I do remove that one because it was kind of getting in the way. But it's quite it's just erratic. And also a quick note about this one as well. It's like reinforcing it. But it won't fully look complete until it's complete, I guess. Like, one thing I noticed when I was kind of nearing the end of this was because I didn't have anything in the way of... You may notice the music change. See, that was because this is recorded today. So it's in a completely different mode. It looks very... Like, even though... Because I haven't had any details, flags, workbenches, things like that, when you look down from the top, it's almost a bit much with the scrappiness. Don't worry about that, because again, once we start adding the details on... I mean, to be frank, I probably won't do a decorating video for this, because it would just take fucking hours. But you will see that you hide... Oh, also, notice why you can hear that right there? Bloody... Because I've been spending most of this playthrough building, so I haven't done much of the quest. I only just did the one with the vertibirds make an appearance, which is why it's gone now. I didn't kill it, I just killed the thing it was killing. But they keep bloody well appearing when I'm trying to record. It's really bloody selfish, to be completely honest. So I'm not really thinking about this. Like, all I know is I want to squeeze a little shack underneath these things. And it just works so well. I'm just kind of slapping things down willy-nilly, I guess. It looks pretty grand. Also, apparently you guys want to start a drinking game where I say grand a lot. So I'm grand. That's at least 4 or 5 shots right there. Get drunk. I like saying grand. It's my little word. It's always has been. And I'm not even Irish. I just like saying the word. That generator's pissing me off so much, but we do get the generator room ostensibly set up. With the generator room, a quick note, you'll see at the end. I'm torn of how we're going to do that one, because I want it on the outside of the building, or the outside of the castle, but it's obviously there's the defensible quality of it having there, but you can't really have it inside without making shit tons of noise, or shoving it in a room inside the actual castle interior, but it's going to be defended, even if it's not fully defended in this episode. So as you can see, I'm just slapping things down. It's more about... I'm really happy I'm making this series, because it's great to kind of... It's a pain in the arse to record, I'm not going to lie. Because I've never recorded me, obviously, building an entire structure from start to finish. But it's really good for you guys to see that, to be honest, in a way, a lot of the buildings I make aren't massively complex, like the ones that actually fill space, but it's all about the overall look. It's almost like taste, you know. Think of these as pieces of furniture that you're slapping down to add to the general aesthetic of an area. Individually, they look a bit, but collectively, they look really grand. But I think people are intimidated by, obviously, using them. So here, it just all looks really weird and wonderful, and I love it. It's just really, really scrappy. So many walkways. So again, we're adding another one here. There are a few instances where I can't obviously put a building underneath the walkways, especially where it goes over the lower level. Also in this video, by the way, quick note, I do have to keep cutting and going out because my settlement size limit keeps going up really fast. But I think in the next one, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play for like 3 or 4 hours and just see how much... There it happens again. See how much we can actually put together. Because there are going to be so many little details that they're not decorations, so I do want you to... Like, I'm not going to show you me putting workbenches down, really. Maybe a couple. But I do want to show you any kind of construction details, because that's the point of the channel as far as I'm concerned. But it's... Those are the kind of thing that probably will take me hours to do, just because... I mean, obviously, for example, I do stop recording when I'm thinking about something. But you can see here, there's just loads of little things, and... There's loads of space, because I've got to build a farm over there. So you can see, you saw the last one, and you see this one as well. Again, they don't completely touch the bottom, but you don't notice it once you're actually on the ground and on the levels. So here I wanted to make kind of a little, I guess, another walkway, in essence. This also had a bonus of later I can actually merge this into a new walkway. I'm going to repeat that word a lot in this in this entire series, because that's pretty much the entire theme of the goddamn thing. But it's quite interesting. They're quite fiddly. You know, they don't exactly... They're at funny angles and shit like that, so it's quite weird. So again, see, these things are great. I'm so happy I started using these, because they just add that extra bit of texture to these things. So we popping that one in there. generally. With the wall ends, I've realised I use the same, like, with the wall ends, what I like to do is, because originally I went for a period where I was only using the wood ones. Now I'm actually alternating between the wood ones. I mean, I do tend to use the same ones when I'm doing whatever particular part of the wall I'm using. But I do make sure that I don't just use the wood ones for an entire settlement, or I just use the metal ones. Because, again, it just adds a little bit more variation. And that kind of juxtaposition of textures. So, like, when I'm building, like, I've got a metal piece, I like to use the wood ones. Like, a wood one, I use the metal ones. It's just kind of like this nice kind of juxtaposition on where things are going. This staircase worked out really well, by the way. Just a quick note. I was worried it would float. Because that's another little challenge with this one, is that one just sinks perfectly into there. But obviously, due to the limited space we are slowly getting, but also the fact that... See, look how this right here. It just squeezes in. Just gets in there. I might change that to a proper roof piece. Oh no, I changed it to railing, don't I? But yeah, it's quite a challenge. Like, you probably don't see, but the amount of times I pause these, go look around and think, right, where can I put that staircase? Because I've got no space, so you end up having like these really... It reminds me a lot of Megaton. I know someone pointed out in the last video, and Megaton's one of my favourite Fallout settlements ever. Like one of my favourite areas. That and I mentioned the last one, but also Libertalia, because I like that. I know I keep saying this word a lot as well. Shanty kind of, you know, scrap apocalypse. You know, that's the main reason why I like these kind of games. This one I might edit a little bit actually in the next episode, because just the side of the walls looks a bit like that bit there at the back, because obviously you don't have the room to actually put in some of those shack wall and roof parts. It means that it looks a bit flat when you're coming on the other side. I don't like it. And there as well, I might kind of fiddle or pop things on. I can add maybe textures and things. There are a few instances where it looks a bit boxier than I would like. That's why I want to do the next episode. It'll be uber fast. It might be a longer one, to be fair, so prepare yourself. So it doesn't say speeding around like a mother bitch. So this part was quite fiddly, actually, because annoyingly... Well, firstly, there's this part here. Because, obviously, it's too close for me to... There's only one doorway, basically, for the wood houses. And initially, I was like, right, okay, we'll have it here like this. But obviously, I didn't want that wall, that ceiling. Because I was initially going to keep it open. But then I realised the roof looks weird. And if the roof looks weird, then obviously I could maybe take that back shack floor and move up. But the thing is, then it would obviously be a bit too open. So I start popping these in, and it's a bit fiddly, and I wanted these to kind of connect. I like the idea that I was worried. One thing I want my guards to be able to walk around, and they do. But, like, I wanted a little bit of space. The only thing with this is because you see why I'm doing that, because it adds a kind of a clear pathway for you to walk across. When you open the door, it does open into the path a little bit. I might fiddle with that later on. I'm kind of undecided. See, it opens up a little bit, but it suffices for now. Slapping the railings down, all that jazz. Sorry, I keep resisting the urge to chuckle at how fast that guy's moving. He looks stupid. So there we go. We've got kind of making my path now right now. Also, again, I'm always getting shitty luck with the weather, so I have to keep sleeping. So this works pretty well. Annoyingly, because I wanted to just use the roof, say, like this part here. But it works well, like, in that side, but it's floating a little bit too much. So what I eventually do, and you'll see in a second, is I actually basically make a little kind of stairs-like lumpy bit, which I'll then hide a few of the details out later on. Random staircase. The same technique that we use for the stairs, so attaching a small staircase with a board. You'll see in a sec. Come on, Davey. Stop thinking, you twat. Right, there we go. So I do this, basically. Again, I just like the erratic nature of this structure. And I also use the upper shack floor because I wanted it to be thicker, so you don't see the gap so much between the floor pieces. And it gives me more to do with that. I can then maybe fiddle with it later on. I had a bit of a nightmare getting it straight because it was obviously hanging around the edge a little bit. Bosh, bosh, done. There we go. It's going to look a little bit weird from the bottom, but again, that's why we want to do the second episode. Well, the third episode of this kind of interior part, just because I do actually need more time to kind of, and I want to show you guys how to hide some of these errors. But you see, it's looking really cool, isn't it? So many, so many walkways. I'm gonna get lost in here. It's gonna be a nightmare for for assaults. Either for the attackers or the defenders, I'm undecided which. And yes, I will be recording when I get to that stage in the game and uploading it. I've decided I'm not going to upload the original castle attack, but I will upload this castle's attack, so you'll get to see how defensible this place is. For better or for worse. That's what we're doing now. Having a bit of a spasm. Ah, we go. So now we're actually doing the fence pieces. Now, with this one, because of the fact we have a limited space, normally what I would do is alternate between the junk fence with just the blank one, I guess, and the one with the kind of slightly thin tyres on the side. I decided not with this one, just because I have so little space, and because those tyres are a little bit chunkier, it meant that I was worried it might kind of cause me a few headaches later down the line, or even just squeezing them into some of the tight gaps. So I just used the same one. However, because of the fact there are so many structures around it, and the fact that you're never really looking at that at the same angle, it means it doesn't... I didn't notice any repetition, or I didn't feel like aesthetically there was kind of a repetition in structure, but I obviously am. Also, always note when you're doing things like this, leave the rugs on, because you're going to have a bloody nightmare time. And also, don't do it there, because it's not flat. But it is flat over here, which is grand. See, this area here is the part I need to do in the next episode, because basically... This took ages. This is, like I said, over an hour's worth of footage of me just recording. But I still didn't have enough time because I want to I want a walkway going over that part with the farm, but I want it a little bit more open because I don't want the entire area cramped up like it's going to be on one side. Cramped up a little bit, but not too much. But I do want one walkway going over the top. Plus, where the radio tower is, we need to build something there too, which we don't do in this episode because I didn't have the time. I know it's tedious watching me do this. Welcome to my bloody nightmare. This shit takes fucking hooches. I bloody hate these fences. Seriously, this is my life. This is the part I always... When I'm building any of my settlements, this is the part I try and get out of the way as soon as possible, because it's the part that just sucks. I fucking hate fences. But they're worth it, and as I said before, they're just such a great utility structure for... reinforcing areas like this, but also kind of making a settlement look like it's complete. Because they really do complete an area. And with the glorious, beautiful rug glitch, it means that they're pretty easy to squeeze into any gaps. With the rug glitch as well, I mean, I know people sometimes have trouble. You see, notice the way when I'm putting the fences on, because it uses the collision of the original rug, you can actually squeeze them into really weird little gaps. Because you can just basically put the fence on at a weird angle. Also note, once the fence has been connected to the rug, you can then move it around on top of the rug and it'll still clip, if you know what I mean. It's something I realise. So, like, say you're having really nightmarish time connecting one of the fence pieces to a rug. If you just get it in a kind of really bog-standard normal angle, and then you can rotate the fence, not the rug, and for some reason it just... Because it's now already been connected once, it will then connect a lot easier. I don't know why. Oh, also, one thing I'm going to do in this farm as well, we're going to have something other than mute fruit, because I realised in this playthrough all I'm doing is mute fruit, because it's just the easiest one, but obviously if we're going to be making vegetable starch and loads of adhesive, which we're going to need lots of, because we're upgrading all of my settlers' guns, because that was something I really decided I needed to do, we're going to need lots of corn and potatoes. So again, popping in. It's only, I think there's one more after this as well. It's tedious, but whatever, so I sped it up. And it does transform it quite a lot. Thinking I may have one or two windmills on this one as well. I want a backup power supply because I'm conscious of the generator room when you see it. It's not finished, because I still don't know what to do with it yet. And also I like the idea. I like the height. This is quite a... This is a fortress, but it's also a settlement. And I like the idea of having a few windmills at the top. But I don't know where to put them. But I'm going to use this technique as well. I might just put them like right on the top of the upper walkways. I'm not too sure. So it's really coming together. This one. Can't believe I'm rebuilding the bloody castle. I love you guys. And girls. But seriously, I'm rebuilding the castle. And we're going to be doing this type of series for Sanctuary after this, I've decided. Because it's just, I think I mentioned before, but it's going to be, it'll be more fun for me to do it that way, because it'll motivate me to actually do it. But also, you know, the castle, Sanctuary, and potentially Spectacle Island are the ones that really, they take a bit more of an investment of time than other settlements. So we're scuttling around. I don't know where Nick is. I think he's gone wandering. Or did I tell him to fuck off? I can't remember, to be honest. I do run out of wood in this one as well. I'd spent ages one evening listening to a podcast and gathering all the wood, and I finally ran out, so I had to do a little bit of a mission. But at that point, we had so much water in my inventory that was fine. See, notice my Brahmin? Because I traced the paths exactly, well, exactly-ish, with the lower levels. It means that they walk dead in the center. That was something I was really worried about, that even though this would look cool, because obviously you guys who use the castle a lot know that the provisioners do walk, they go through it quite often, as well as Ronnie Shaw there. She'll walk down that path. If you want to do this, just make sure you're tracing the path that they would use, and it's completely fine, which made me very chipper and happy, because I was worried we'd have an instance where I just have like a little bit of a gridlock of irritating Brahmin, and I'd have to mini-nuke them all. I would have used surprise motherfucker, but in my other save, my rocket launcher surprise motherfucker. However, I don't have that, and I haven't found a legendary rocket launcher yet, which made me sad. So I have to nuke things instead. So we're last fence? Second, penultimate fence. There we go. It's all very bloody exciting, isn't it? This is why, by the way, every time you guys, sometimes people say, oh, can you do a full perimeter fence video? No. Well, eventually we'll have to do one in Sanctuary, but it's going to be so stupidly sped up, it's unbelievable. But no, basically, no, I hate fences. I hate them. I love them, but I hate them. Bastards. They are not grand. They're twatty. But fuck it, it needs to be done. Also, again, reinforcing there, when you play something down, just pick it up and drop it again, just because it stops it from rattling around like a twat. Right, so now we're scuttling over here. See, look at it now. It looks cool. But as you can see, because of the way I haven't added any details to it yet, it almost is suffering from that slight repetition feeling. But it'll be cool because we break it up with flags, furniture, things like that. It won't look so weird. So my generator, I'm still undecided. My generator room, I'm still undecided how it's going to look. It's going to be here. I think I might actually make it its own little mini fortress at the side with walls. I was going to put the fences on, but they were going to be a bit of a nightmare due to the level of the ground that I decided to try. To be utterly frank, even though I'm building this at the end here, I might end up moving it into the sea, so it's more defensible. Like, we could actually have a wooden part. Actually, that's a really good idea. I'm going to do that. Okay, so what we're doing right now is not going to be in the game, but interesting idea anyway. What I'm going to do, assuming the build area is long enough for me to do it, because obviously I'm worried that I won't be able to build out into the sea very much. We're going to have it so it's actually going to be a kind of like pier area with a generator on top. But for now, I wanted to show you guys one thing though, which is generator placement is one of my big pet hates. I want to stab out your eyes when I see you slapping loads of generators down in the exact same pattern. May notice something. David, why the hell are you not using the same big generator? One, because they're too big to fit in these rooms. But also, just, like, obviously I would add furniture into here as well. But just having this mix of match of different types of generator, just, again, it adds a bit more depth. It's one of the big things for me that actually kills the structure, is seeing people who have this really cool base, and then at the side of it, they just have 10 big generators in a massive line, or small or windmills, or anything, and it's just like, don't, no. But yeah, I'll probably actually maybe do a proper, nothing more can be built, fuck off, another little session where I actually show you guys how to make some nice generator buildings. It's a bit noisy. Note to self, I'll have to adjust the volume on this part so it's not too loud. It shouldn't be too noisy for you, basically. So, but even though I'm going to probably scrap this and try it again, I'm going to basically turn this into a giant fortress structure. Now, one thing I wasn't going to do, and in this one I do, I might not, is basically, I didn't... Because I'm going to use the rug glitch to move the conduits. I'm going to have 2 conduits going out, like the little floor ones. So that way the generators can be inside, and then I can have actual pylons leading up to the rest of the castle. I was actually going to have it so there's an actual doorway, because I didn't like the idea that I was basically... Because I could just remove that doorway, which is what I ended up doing, because it was a bit fiddly. And then actually making it so physically nothing could ever get inside. But that seems a little bit cheesy for me. I do end up doing it in this one, but I'm going to change my mind and actually make it defensible. I was just more conscious of how long I've been doing this. But this is what I'm going to do regardless, which is just have those little 2 conduits there, pick them up so they don't shake around, and that allows you to have generators indoors. Very noisy freaking generators. Incidentally, if you don't like the noise the generator is making, if you turn it off and on, it cycles between a different sound. So, see, initially I was going to, I actually scrapped the idea completely, because it just becomes a bit more fiddly. Because of the shape of this land. And just, I'm leaving this in there, because I just kind of want you to see how often, you know, I just get rid of ideas completely. I do this a lot. I build entire structures and I'm like, yeah, nope, not going to happen. This is ostensibly what I'm going to be doing. If you remember from my first ever video back in the day, my sanctuary, how I've actually got that World of Purifier area, that's kind of what we're going to be doing for this generator area, except it's going to have actual guard. It's going to be like a mini fort. It's going to have actual guard, because it's going to have about 50, 60 power in it. So have actual guard towers. I'm going to actually assign guards there. Maybe even have a little bunkhouse so they don't have to wander off. And then lots of turrets. I sincerely doubt it'll need that much defense, because I sincerely doubt it's going to get that much of a concentrated attack. But this area right here didn't really work out for me. Plus just the misshapen lay of the land. So I think we are going to turn this... Actually, I'm looking at it. Can you see that green there? I don't know if I'm going to be able to have this in the sea. Depends what the other side is like. But I pop these off. I say fuck it. Just a quick note if you do want to make a completely impenetrable generator room. I don't know why I do it like this. And I fiddle around. And I take that off because it looks stupid. And I say fuck it. But basically, technically speaking, that is fully defensible. I might actually turn that into something. Just move the generators out, because I don't like the idea of wasting this structure. The only reason it's a bit weird is because of the fact that obviously it's not really defensible for generator rooms. However, I can turn this into a little mini bunkhouse or maybe a trading post or something. We will use this area. So I'm popping a shack foundation because I wanted another way to get outside, especially just to get to the generator room, because I didn't like the idea that you had to go all the way around the side of the castle. This one was good. I'm pretty chuffed with how I did this, actually. This is really good technique. You can build just kind of these weird little impromptu stairs, shall we say. So then I just pop this one in there, and boom. And even though that's sticking through the floor, we'll have railings on the side anyway, so you won't be actually able to see the thing poking through. It's a bit fiddly there. We do the top. And voila. There we go. So that's pretty much what I've done on the interior so far. Tomorrow you guys are getting a new video. You can see right there. Like, I need to add the details on, because right now almost it feels repetition-y a little bit, but that's mainly because there's just nothing adding a bit more depth to these textures. So I'm going to have another Let's Build for you tomorrow, and then I'm going to upload, the reason being because then I can do a castle tour on Monday when I don't normally post, which I won't have to build anything, obviously, because it'll all be done. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment, send me a message, or follow me at norespawns. That's really useful because I tend to complain about how I'm late with videos, or generally it's easier to reach me because I do like tweeting to people. It's fun. But you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. There'll be a Don't Starve video tomorrow morning, because it was meant to be done the other day, but I was just on the last gross elements of my cold. But Don't Starve video in the morning. It's already ready. I'm just going to upload it when I get up. But yeah, you guys take care. Bye.